Hello, Jody Scaper here, and today I'm at my good friend Peter's house to trim this tank. He's asked us to come along and trim it because it's getting a bit overgrown since we last trimmed it. It's a shame in a way because it does look stunning, but it does need that trim because the fish will have nowhere to swim. I think that rhymed. The purpose of today's video is to show you how I trim the stems in particular to get a nice shape and keep that shape. So I hope you enjoy this video, guys. See you soon. Bye. So we're going to start with the stems. You can see the stems are well overgrown, and what we're going to do is keep that shape. So we're going to take it from the left hand side all the way across and dome that down so it's nice and tight. So when you're trimming though, it's not just about the actual left to right, it's about front and back as well. So we'll get that nice dome effect, which will also create that sense of depth. So that's what we're aiming for. So these are my scissors of choice from the Aquavita range. Double curve. I use these for almost everything. They're just my favourite scissors and I always use these. The thing is don't be afraid to get stuck in. I think a lot of people are really timid with the trimming. Just think about that shape you initially want. A few tips for that is you can actually draw a line on the tank. So with a marker, just draw your dome shape to give you like a guideline. And I actually used to do that when I was a gardener. I used to work garden maintenance and I used to use a guideline, use a piece of rope on long hedges. So it's a similar principle to that. Takashi Mano and his apprentices, that's the way he used to work with his apprentices. He would show them with a guideline using a pen. So that's how that come about. What I'm going to do initially is take off some of the nicer stems, and we can keep those in case we want to replant, or you can actually use them in another scape, which we're going to do. I think I'm going to pinch a couple of bits off you, Peter, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yep, we'll do that. We'll take a couple of nice pieces. So this is Rotala HRR. Take a couple of nice bits from there and we'll collect those out the tank. I'll just take these out. Oh no, Peter has just ruined the video. For those who don't know, that's the Sunderland top. Sunderland are the biggest rivals of Newcastle United, and me being a Geordie, that has just spoilt the whole thing, and I think I fell out with Peter.
Should we just cut now?
Yeah, cut it, finished, that's it. So I was saying before, to get the shape, we're just going to get stuck in. So if I think it's going to come from the right hand side, yeah, and we'll start just snipping away bits to get that rough line, what we're looking for. Just take bits off at a time because you can always take more off later, unlike if you take too much off. But again, don't worry, it grows. Just keep snipping away. Front to back, remember, always keep that in mind, so it's not just one solid straight line. Just remember, this stage is just for the rough shape. We can neaten it all up once we've got the height we're after. Let's go with that classic time lapse. See you soon. I've got a little tip for you when you're actually trimming. I'm not sure if you can see this on camera. When you're trimming away, you get in the habit of just little small cuts. If you've got a lot of dense growth like this and it's quite broad front and back, you're best off holding the scissors right up to catch more as you go. Just makes it easier to get your eventual shape. So you see the difference. That's like a normal trim. But if you widen them right up, which may seem like common sense, but it's amazing how many times you don't do it, and you just take more off as you go, making the job quicker and making the shape more even. So yeah, little tip for you. So we can see what we're doing. We're going to net most of this off, keep the bigger, better pieces. So we've got a net there, Peter. I'll just take some more.
Turn the bigger one on.
And that'll do. So we're just going to take this off so we can actually see what we're doing. You can see there we're starting to get the shape. We're not taking loads off because we still want the tank to look nice after I finish this. Unlike the early stages of a setup, you tend to take a lot off to encourage growth. So for example, your first trim, you're taking about half of the actual plant off, sometimes around 3/4, but this time we want to keep that nice dense shape at the back, so that's the way we're trimming here. So there's not going to be loads coming off, not big lengths. We're going to keep that height roughly the same, because initially Peter asked us to come and give him a hand with the trim because this side was lagging. The left hand side was the growth was really vigorous and way ahead of this side. So now we're starting to get it nice and evened up, so we'll not be taking loads off this side, just the stragglers. And then we'll go from there, gauging my height from there, taking it over, keeping that fairly high still, and lowering down, so it's all nice and even, nice and tight, compact growth from side to side and front to back. So we'll just continue with that, and then there'll come a point where we'll think, yep, that's the height we wanted, and we'll start making it nice and tight. So as I was saying, from front to back, so if we're going from the very back, that's giving our height, and then we're going to make that way forward. So we want it obviously smaller at the front, and taking that back just gradually, so it's like a dome from front to back. Because if we cut that all the same height, it would just look flat, we'd lose the depth, and it just doesn't look as nice. So I think we're getting the height we want, so it's best to just come back and just check. See, I can see here now I'm way off the left, which I thought I was on, so it's hard when you're actually over the tank. So we're going to take a little bit more off the left hand side to get that shape. Yep, other than that, it's looking okay, so let's crack on. Okay, so now we're finished on the stem plants. What Peter's doing here is just waving his hands through the ferns and other plants, and that just releases all the detritus into the water column, so we can bring that out during the water change. Peter's took the majority of the cuttings out. There's still obviously cuttings in the tank, but before we do the major water change, it's important to clean the glass, so obviously the stuff that comes off the glass is going to be released into the water column. So that's what Peter's doing here, using the good old Seachem scraper.
Season tickets up to you.
Oh, South Shields season ticket, hey! South Shields is our town, we live near Newcastle. Can you tell we like football?
Does the job.
She can't be bothered, can she? There she is.
Little Romanian rescue dog.
Ah, yeah, that's a good story with Mabel here. Rescue dog, she, all the way from Romania. Bless her.
Got a little passport.
Yeah, Romanian passport, crazy that. What Peter's doing here, he's got his own little way of getting rid of cyanobacteria. So cyanobacteria is what you usually see between the substrate and the glass, like a dark green. So it's like an algae bacteria, and Peter uses this way of getting rid of it, which is pretty cool. So he's just scraping it with like a needle-like scraper attached to some hosing, which siphons it straight back out instead of going into the water column. Pretty cool. What do you think, guys? Do you do anything like this? Enjoying yourself, Peter?
No, not really. Nah, it's got to be done, isn't it?
It has. Alright, it's a good little tip.
Obviously, I'll go further down for it, like once
Yeah.
I've scraping bits off the top.
Brill. Okay, so that's all the messy stuff done. It's had a really good, nice trim. We've got rid of the majority of the waste out of the water column. Peter is now changing around up 80% of the water. Big water change because it's had a big maintenance session, so there's no harm. Those who are worried about how much water to take out, big water changes, there's very little beneficial bacteria within the water column. Your beneficial bacteria is within the filtration, within the substrate, within the plants, within the wood, so I wouldn't worry too much about taking too much water out. There's no harm in doing a heavy water change, which we've done here. So all we're doing now is filling the water back up in the tank. and that's pretty much it. So what I'll do at the end of the video, I'll leave you some B-roll footage, how it looks when it's full and everything's running nice again. So to summarise what we've done, we've trimmed the plants, mainly the stem plants, to give it a nice shape. Peter has took out all the hardware, the glassware, to give it a good clean. We've done a heavy water change, removed as much detritus as possible, removed all the trimmings. Just give everything a good general tidy after the heavy trim. I hope you've learned some good trimming techniques within this video. I've had a really good time here, and big thanks to Peter for letting us come here and helping out with his tank. Me and Peter were just talking before, so you know, it's good to have some company when you're doing things. The time flies. So obviously with recording the video, doing actual maintenance, it takes longer than usual, but time's slow and we've had a good laugh. So I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Enjoy this bit B-roll footage and see you next time. See you later. Bye.